Today we have the honor to interview Mr. Gracie. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
First off, I would like to ask you, you started training Jiu-Jitsu at a fairly young age, around 10 years of age, if I recall correctly. How was it in the beginning and what made you fall in love with Jiu-Jitsu eventually?
Well, in the beginning I was just doing it because it was part of my family, and my father had the Jiu-Jitsu academy, so I would go usually every day after school and start training. But then I think what inspired me to go more is when I started seeing my uncles and my cousins fighting in the MMA events, like the early UFC days. This is when the UFC was just starting in the mid-90s. And Jiu-Jitsu is an art, you know, so I started feeling the creativity of Jiu-Jitsu and really enjoying the movement and just playing with it as a kid would with any sport. So this made it really fun for me, and this, for me, I just fell in love with it because of that.
You're well known for your Omoplata game, especially the finish over Marcelo Mafra in 2013 in the Pan American Black Belt Finals. Why has Omoplata become such a powerful weapon for you?
I think it's a position that a lot of people don't understand. They didn't really take the time to really understand and study. But it's something that I looked into drilling a lot when I was brown belt into black belt, and really probably perfected once I was a black belt. But and I still continue to evolve the position, but it's a position I think a lot of people don't use properly, or they underestimate the power of the position and the ability to finish. So it's something that I enjoy using, and I had fun with it, and again using my creativity to find those perfect positions to finish, and always just chasing that submission.
You've already achieved a lot on the mats, but what are your future goals in Jiu-Jitsu?
I look forward to continue to compete and challenge myself, but I'm also really enjoying teaching and sharing my Jiu-Jitsu, traveling, the ability to come to places like here, like to Finland, and share my Jiu-Jitsu and have everyone come and just sharing Jiu-Jitsu back and forth, techniques and the energy of the class, and meeting the people that just love Jiu-Jitsu around the world. It's a beautiful thing to see what Jiu-Jitsu has become.
Who inspires you as an athlete and as a competitor? Do you have one person or some sort of philosophy or something?
I really like to watch all the Jiu-Jitsu, you know, the new generation coming in these days. You know, I really am impressed by it. You see, like every year, the blue belts get tougher, the black belts get tougher, the styles are changing, and it's really amazing to see like how it's just evolving. And this is just a natural evolution of any art and any sport. You know, it's really nice to see, but definitely you see the level getting harder, more difficult, and just evolving in such a great way. So I don't really have any specific competitor that I always have to watch. Of course, I want to watch the people that I know, that I'm friends with, and my teammates. But it's really beautiful to see the sport evolve.
Would you say that sometimes being a Gracie can also be a burden?
I mean, yeah, in a way, because even when I was a purple belt, no one knew who I was. They didn't know my first name, but they knew my last name. They knew, like, okay, this guy's Gracie, so where is he from? Who's his parents? Who's his father? And you know, they always maybe assume something, you know. And I suppose maybe the biggest burden is the fact that a lot of my family members in the upper generation, my father and his brothers and cousins, they went through a time when most of the time they would not lose. You know, they would win everything because they were a level above everyone. You know? And because Jiu-Jitsu was very new at that time, but nowadays there are people even across the world, here in Finland, that are really tough, and there's high level everywhere now. So if you want to be training at the highest competition, like, you have to really challenge yourself. You have to really train properly and do your best.
In relation to that question, do you think that you being a Gracie adds a bullseye to your back when competing, or when you're rolling in different gyms around the globe?
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, I don't really see that happen from the other side, but I guess I don't know if it's because I'm a black belt that people want to train with me, or it's because my name, the Gracie name. My father used to say, everybody always wants to see a Gracie lose. You know, they would always say, okay, oh, you're fighting Gracie. We don't know who he is, but he's a Gracie. So, you know, if you can beat him, it's going to be great. You know, so I think there probably is a bullseye on my back, and I probably share that with the rest of my family, as well as, you know, all the other guys that create a name for themselves in Jiu-Jitsu. I just happen to be born into the family that that already has a name in Jiu-Jitsu.
Does that motivate you?
Yeah,
like a little bit of extra.
Yeah, I mean, I could either give in to the pressure and just say, okay, I give up. I don't want to have the pressure anymore, or I could say, okay, I'm going to work extra hard to make sure I don't get smashed. So.
What would be your advice to that white belt who is getting crushed while rolling with the more experienced Jiu-Jitsu practitioners?
Well, I think you have to absorb everything, all your experiences. You know, whether it's an experience in life or an experience on the mat, you learn from all your experiences so that you don't make the same mistakes again. And then hopefully you can even take those movements, those techniques, those experiences, and use them against someone in the future. All right? So be like a sponge, just absorb it all. Don't give up. Understand that anytime you start anything in life, any sport especially, it's going to be probably difficult in the beginning. Right? You're going to go through a time when it's a learning curve, it's a process. And you know, don't give up. Train with people that you enjoy to train with. Try to learn. Ask questions. Ask a lot of questions so you understand as much as possible. And just have fun.
All right, good advice. In your opinion, what is the purpose of sparring and how to make the most of it?
The sparring, you know, Jiu-Jitsu is amazing because someone brought this to my attention one time. Jiu-Jitsu is one of the only martial arts that you can actually train like 100%, go really hard, and both partners can still be smiling, shake hands, and without a bruises or scratches on their body. You know, they can actually leave still in one piece. Or in some other martial arts, like striking martial arts specifically, if you really train 100%, you're probably going to leave a little banged up, some injuries, you know, or some bumps and bruises probably. But you know, with Jiu-Jitsu, we get the real life experience. Like the person can give you 100% energy. They can go as hard as they want, and you know, we get to let all that energy out. Maybe any of our tension, any frustration, anything from the outside world, you get to like put all your energy out there. And if you notice, a lot of Jiu-Jitsu practitioners, they will never, very rarely be found fighting in the street. Whereas, you know, some average person that never does martial arts, or especially Jiu-Jitsu, or at least doing any sparring, they might feel the need, they want to prove something. But we get to prove ourselves every day, or we get to test ourselves every day. So this is a huge benefit, I think, not even physically, but like mentally, to like calm yourself and give you that confidence, showing you what works and what doesn't.
BJJ is definitely one of the key elements of mixed martial arts, and it has shaped modern MMA a lot. Do you think that MMA has had an impact on BJJ, and if so, in what way?
Has MMA had an impact on BJJ?
Yeah, as in evolving the sport somehow to some direction, or maybe some particular move, or...
Yeah, I think they both kind of feed on each other in a way, right? Honestly, without MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu probably would not have become as popular, because you really saw a lot of Jiu-Jitsu in the UFC, in mixed martial arts competition. You see guys like Gracie in the beginning, when no one knew any Jiu-Jitsu, being so successful with it. Then people started to learn it, and of course Jiu-Jitsu had to evolve even more, and even Jiu-Jitsu players had to learn how to do striking, of course, like be efficient in this side as well. But when UFC really became popular, I think you saw a lot of Jiu-Jitsu schools also grow. And if you notice, like the average person, maybe the guy that is not an athlete, is not a competitor, but they still want to train, they still want to do it. MMA is not really something for everyone. Not everyone's going to say, okay, your mom and your sister, they're not going to come and practice MMA. But they can do Jiu-Jitsu. They can come and learn the technical side, learn how to use the finesse, use the technique and balance and leverage to their advantage. So I think they feed off of each other. Some people naturally make the switch to MMA, but it's just it creates something for everyone, I think, by having both.
A bit of a tricky question, but do you consider it important for BJJ as a sport and a martial art that more people would not only start BJJ but also continue practicing it after completing the basic course? Because sometimes people fall off after, you know, being there for 40 hours, or maybe the blue belt blues starts and people fall off.
So you're asking me
if you consider it important that you would be able to, you know, kind of make the people who come to the basic course stay and practice for like years.
Yeah, I think really like Jiu-Jitsu, the real benefit of Jiu-Jitsu is not to do it just through a course or just to learn the basics. Of course, that's great. If you get just the basics, it's going to help you a lot, maybe in a real life situation, especially on the self-defense side. But it's really about our lifestyle, right? This is the real benefit of Jiu-Jitsu is we keep our body in shape, we keep the flexibility and keep our body, keep working fitness and the relationships you find in the academy. You know? I think Jiu-Jitsu, I ask students a lot, what does Jiu-Jitsu help you in your life? And you hear all different kind of answers, right? Some people say it gave me more discipline, more self-confidence. It's kind of like a therapy to me to come in the academy and be with my friends every evening and be able to just sweat and let out some energy. You know, I think it helps people in many different ways. So, I mean, you can do it just for a short time, but to really experience the most out of Jiu-Jitsu, it's really a lifelong thing, you know, if you can do it. And really, you can see people from all ages practicing Jiu-Jitsu, right? It's not just kids or people in their 20s or competitors. I know people that have started Jiu-Jitsu when they're in their late 50s and continue to train. So.
Do you have any advice to any BJJ school that would like to have more students? What would be, in your opinion, like the one most important factor to keep students and maybe get more?
Yeah, I've been really studying this as well, even in my own academy, and people have been asking me as well. I think it's important to think about student retention, and it's interesting because I just started working with a new software company called Kicksite, and they really help keep you organized, like the software side, and track your students and help your students also track their growth as well. But so retaining the students and making sure all this is taken care of, but also like just your attitude on the mat, off the mat, in the academy. We already become very confident people with ourselves and our jiu-jitsu, or just confidence in general, I think, from training jiu-jitsu. So I think people can, after they train, they can relax, they can smile, they can welcome people. And we as jiu-jitsu instructors and gym owners, we need to remember that someone coming into the academy for the first time, sometimes they're intimidated. It's hard for them to get the courage to say, okay, I'm going to go there, I'm going to get smashed, I'm going to learn. Are they going to beat me up? Are they going to be nice? Are they going to be mean? How's it going to be? I think everyone usually has a tough impression from the beginning, right? Like they're walking into a fight club. Yeah. But it's nice when you can come in and someone greets you with a smile, and we have that. We don't have anything to hide, right? We already have confidence in ourselves with Jiu-Jitsu, so there's no reason for us to put on a tough guy face, you know, because we can show the toughness on the mat, right? So we can welcome them with a smile, and I think that's going to just create a good vibe and make it a lot easier for people to join.
Yeah, so good general atmosphere, warm welcome.
Good vibe, good atmosphere.
I have a couple of fan questions, and the first one would go like this. What do you think about the quintet team format introduced by Sakuraba earlier this year? I don't know if you're familiar with it. I guess you are.
So yeah. I know it's like two teams competing against each
four
other.
teams.
Four teams
of 5 people.
Okay.
And no gi matches, submission only. And if someone loses, then the next person of that team steps to the mat. Do you think that would be something maybe perhaps BJJ competitions could try, or are you interested in such? Would you be interested in such?
Yeah, it's always nice to see different organizations come and show different rules, different sets of ways to structure the competition, and really just make it fun, right? It has to be fun for the competitors, it has to be entertaining for the spectators, and create a fan base where people want to watch. They want to see these guys go at it. So, yeah, definitely.
Next question is, do you train with some of the well-known MMA athletes, like globally, or UFC stars, or some guys like those?
Yeah, I have trained with many of them. I've trained with Jake Shields quite a bit. Gracie, my cousin, who just retired recently, but he finished with the belt at 1FC. I've trained at my cousin Henzo's academy a lot, and he has many good MMA guys there. And I've had a lot of MMA guys come through and train with me quite a bit. And I enjoy both. I enjoy MMA and I enjoy Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've mainly focused my energy towards Jiu-Jitsu. I feel this is, like, for me, like a longer career, but I enjoy both.
And can you name any Finnish Jiu-Jitsu practitioners?
Finnish Jiu-Jitsu practitioners?
Yeah, or competitors?
I mean, I have some great friends here. Yuri from the Team Crest. We have Professor Antti here at this academy. Hardknocks.
Yeah.
Tupe, Katarina. They both compete internationally, going to the Worlds. And so as I come here, I'm meeting more and more people.
Finland is not that big of a country, so that was a bit of a trick question. How to deal with the pressure in a tournament? Obviously, you've been to the very best tournaments and also won. How to deal with the pressure?
Yeah, I think you just have to remember that it's just another person standing in front of you, and even though you've trained with your team, you're stepping out there by yourself, and just remember, like, the worst that can happen is you tap out, you know, and you can always go again. In the end, the real experience, the real results are going to stay with you. It's not, people are not going to remember everything. It's more about for you, your own benefit. So go out there and try to get the best experience you can, and you'll for sure benefit from the experience. Whether you win or lose, you're gonna win something from the challenge that you present yourself with.
All right. And one last question. What would you say to someone who is watching this video and considering to start training Jiu-Jitsu?
I suggest you come and train. Come and challenge yourself. Say, get a gi, come train at the academy, come here to Hardknocks. If you're in California, come visit me in San Diego. Come and enjoy the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu lifestyle. And just, you have nothing to lose. Let it change your life.
Thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you so much.